morning, Living Water. Hope you're having a great Tuesday so far. I know last week I wasn't able to bring to you a Take on Tuesday, but hoping that this week we can take on Tuesday together and really offer the rest of the week to the Lord as a living sacrifice, as a worship to the Lord. And, just so that we can respond to the word that God has shared with us and all the good things that He has done. This past Sunday, we received a word from Philippians chapter 2 from Pastor Augustine as he was talking about kenosis, of how Jesus emptied himself, how he did not consider equality with God, even though he was God, and he lowered himself into the form of a servant of humans. And he went further. He emptied himself further of his rights, of his comfort, of everything. And he even went all the way to death to lay his life down for us. And the call that Paul puts in Philippians chapter 2 is that if we have any comfort or any encouragement by sharing in the Spirit and in benefiting from what Jesus Christ did by Him emptying Himself, that we should follow in suit, that we should empty ourselves, that we should really have the same mind as Jesus Christ and follow along. And one of the very clear asks in Philippians chapter 2 is that we shouldn't do anything out of selfish ambition, but instead that we should consider one another more valuable than ourselves, that we should consider the other person more significant than ourselves, and that we should do everything not for our own interest, but for the interest of others. Now, this is a very difficult thing to do in this day and age, maybe in all ages, but in our world today, it's all about valuing ourselves higher than others, right? It's all about valuing my position higher than others, valuing my company higher than others, valuing and being acknowledged for everything that I do, and really trying to claim as many benefits as possible. But what God is calling us to, and the way that God's kingdom works, is the total opposite. That we are called to sacrifice and to lay things down for one another in love. And that's really the way of Jesus Christ. And so maybe the best way that we can honor God and be united with Jesus Christ is to follow along and to really say, yes, I'm entitled to these things according to this world, but I'm going to lay that down for the sake of loving one another, for the sake of caring for my brother or my sister, for the sake of representing Jesus Christ and who He is in this world, to shine the light and be the salt in this world. One of the things that Proverbs talks about in Proverbs 11, it says that when pride comes, so when we're prideful and we're trying to gain respect, and we're trying to gain stature, we're trying to claim certain titles and all those type of things, it says when pride comes, then disgrace comes, right? We're setting ourselves up for the possibility and the most likelihood of disgrace, because the Bible talks about how God opposes the proud. But then it says, but with humility comes, when humility comes wisdom. And so when we are humble and when we are considering others higher than ourselves, serving one another, that's when wisdom comes along. And in the same way, James chapter 3, James says, who is wise among you? Who has the understanding? Don't just talk about it, but let them show it with their good deeds. Let them show it with their works done in humility. And I think, this is something that we can really try this week. That we wouldn't claim fairness, that we wouldn't cry out, rights for ourselves. And it's not because, claiming what is rightfully ours or, standing up for certain rights is bad. It's just putting that as secondary, not as our priority, but as secondary. that our priority really would be about caring for those who God has called us to care for, to love our neighbors, to love our brothers and sisters, to care for those who are hurting, to care for those who are struggling, to love them and to show them just the love of Jesus Christ. If that can be our priority, and not this whole thing about like valuing myself higher than others and claiming my rights above others, then I think that by itself could be something that God would be really pleased with. And so I hope that we can take this Tuesday and take this week and really practice, not with words but with our actions, how we can serve others by laying certain rights down and certain benefits down, so that we can really represent Jesus Christ in this world. All right, hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you guys